as well the family. So that because of the financial lackness, because of the poverty, the parents, though they want to educate girl children, they're taking up this decision. Because I worked for, before I move on to engineering college, I worked for AP Social Welfare. So social welfare residential schools, as they are meant for economically, socially backward children, they will be studying. So I used to observe, 13 years I served there. So I know their culture, their economic status, and what kind of attitude. As government is taking up free education, they're sending their children to the schools. Otherwise, and during summer, these working days, they will be beautiful. We provide them good soap, good food, everything, all the cosmetics, money amount, some pocket money will be giving. But if they move on during vacation, Dasara vacation, summer vacation, they come back with a lot of tan on the skin. So I will be asking, what happened? You're so beautiful. Why you are turned up back? Black. Then there's a lot of tan, ma'am. We have to go to fields and work. So though the government is providing good education, free education, during holidays, they have to support the family to meet the needs. So parents should provide me food, means I have to go and work, ma'am. Otherwise, it burdens them. So this is the status of our India, especially rural background. So that making them to choose the boys to be educated and girls are denied. And because of that, and girls fallen prey to maternity deaths, we know, during pregnancy and early child marriages, that affecting their health. And we notice the this prenatal deaths, infant deaths, so many trauma they are undergoing. So that only because of the poverty. And the second thing, as you said, career has to be chosen. Though educated family also, parents say, because as I'm working for engineering college, we notice less number of girl children in civil engineering and mechanical engineering. Very less, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you move on to CSE, EC, EEE, huge number, equal, 50-50. So why this civil and mechanical means they have to go to fields, they have to go work for in the farms and machinery. This is very hard to girls. They are very sensitive. No, my daughter cannot work there. So that denying the girl child to join civil and mechanical, of course, the strength is increasing, but though still we say it in 2022, this academic year we have noticed civil and mechanical 15 or 20. That we feel satisfied. The strength is increasing from 5 to 20 or 15. Still, it is low compared to other subjects. So these are the things, ma'am, making the parents taking up the decisions and denying the beautiful career of their girl children. And as you said, family should respect first their girl child. And you said boys to be educated. I always I take up some awareness programs, especially to the parents. I make them realize and understand that let your son respect his sister, his siblings, the girl siblings. If he respect his sister, he respect the other girl in the society. So this education is very important. Most of the parents, what they give utmost importance to boy. He's a boy. He can be late night to home. He's a boy. He can walk anywhere. He's a boy. Always in Indian culture, we notice he is a boy. So this starts. This praise is common in the families of many rural background or even urban background, if you observe. So it is common praise we hear. He's a boy. So that has developed an attitude. I am a boy. I can do anything. So this led to anti-social evil, the turning up into anti-social evil elements or bad character people and affecting the lives of many girl children. So we are noticing many rape cases and other abuse, sexual abuse, and all, it is going on because of the attitude, I am a boy, that is taught by his mother or parents. So this attitude, that awareness should be brought in the minds of the parents. We have to educate them. Girls and boys are equal. If they treat them equally, there will not be any kind of discrimination. So this we can move on being educated. We can start up such kind of awareness programs, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kurdi, and thank you so much, ma'am. I completely agree and resonate with each and every word you said. And I would like to just add one thing. To stop the economic bias, let's stop the bias of work. This is a girl's work or this is a woman's work, and this work belongs to the boy. There is no such discrimination which ever exists. It is we who discriminate. So let's take a small step today and stop discriminating work at our own homes, first of all. And with that note, I would like to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Emmy Ellen Rajalakshmi, who is a life coach, an estate agent, an entrepreneur, author, CEO of Millionaire Fly Emmy Academy, and also the founder director of Happy Wives Lifestyle Club. So, Dr. Emmy Ellen Rajalakshmi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the great introduction, ma'am. I'm so pleased to hear you say, oh, my titles is so grateful. Thank you so much to Dr. Raja Rao. Thank you so much to Dr. Caroline, ma'am, Dr. Kavita, who just spoke before us, and Dr. Ruby from Switzerland. Thank you so much. And all the people who are present today. Thank you so much. All the viewers are actually watching from all across the world. Namaste to you. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. Good evening to you wherever you are. I'm so humble and honored to be here today on the Women's Economic Freedom speech here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Caroline, ma'am. It's been a great journey that we have actually been together for so long, and I've been working with Life Foundation for quite a while now, since last year, or since it's been like 2 years now. I've been working for this woman empowerment team and all. I'm so grateful, and it's been a pleasure for me to be part of this journey. And as for today, we're talking about economic freedom. Yeah, so I would just like to share my personal experience by listening to Dr. Ruby. It just like struck my mind as well on how I was actually growing up with my grandmother. So I'll keep the story to the last part, and I'll just go to the statistics of our economic freedom talk for today first. So now, what is actually economic freedom? So if you look at it, economic freedom is, there are a few kinds of economic freedoms. Yeah. So if you really look at the definition of economic freedom, it goes back to you have the freedom to buy and sell. You have the freedom to choose an occupation, and you have a choice to compete with yourself. That's a freedom for yourself. And also to have a freedom to own your own properties, to have a freedom to make a profit. So these are all your economic freedoms. And what does the freedom, economic freedom really makes is that it makes us more prosperous. A nation with a greater economic freedom have a stronger economic with a higher gross domestic product per capita. So the citizens in the countries that are economically free enjoys twice as much as formal education compared to those who are under economically pressed nations. So you see, even in the economic freedom itself, it goes back to the education as well. So the citizens from the countries that are economically free, they have a greater education. So it still goes back to a greater education that creates a better nation. So now the idea of an economic freedom are strongly associated with healthier society, cleaner environment, greater health, greater wealth, human development, democracy, and also poverty elimination, which is also one of the part of the SDG goals as well, to eliminate poverty. Yeah. So economic freedom comes back to 3 kinds of economic freedom. One is to have your personal choice. Second is to have your voluntary exchange. Third is to have the freedom to enter and compete with the market. And the fourth one is to have a protection of your own self and also the properties that you have. So that is also one of your economic freedom. So now, just before I go wrap up my speech for today, it's just a short and sweet one. I've actually just agreed to Dr. Raja Rao that I'm actually taking out my time for today. So I'm going to share my grandmother's story on how I was actually growing up, my own personal story of a woman economic freedom since the time I was very young. So I basically was growing up with my grandmother. I'm very close to her, and sadly that she's no more around, but she's always living in my heart. Yeah. So she's a woman that I would say that she was an entrepreneur basically. At those days, entrepreneurs were not recognized as grandmother being an entrepreneur, but basically she was an entrepreneur. What she does was that in Malaysia, back in my country, we have this called ice cream, the ice cream that you make by yourself. So actually, her mother was also an entrepreneur. So that's another story. So coming to my grandmother, she used to sell ice creams, where they have like a syrup kind of a thing that they put it in a bag and then they would tie it, and then that's called the ice Malaysia. All right. So then what we do at the end, once it's actually like frozen, so the plastic gets hardened. So what we do is at the end we just bite it, and then you can just like sip that sweet thing coming out from that, that plastic. So that's like an ice cream for us for those days, very, very old time in the 80s and 70s. Yeah. So she was an entrepreneur. Basically, who she sells is to the school children's, because behind her house used to be a school where all the children's will be passing by her house every day. So when the children actually pass by the house, so children, they like all this kind of stuff, right? So they have like little coins. So she used to sell it for 10 cents those days, 10 cents, 20 cents, and then she increased it to 50 cents. So she was literally an entrepreneur. I would say she's a business person. Yeah. So she have actually saved up her own, her own profit that she actually made compared to what she was actually not working for anyone. Only my grandfather was actually working, and he was the breadwinner of the house. So she was basically like saving up all her money, and in the end she had, she accumulated so much of that profit that she made, and she had her own she had her own things that she could do it. Even my grandfather was amazed at how did she manage to do it. So I come from a upbringing of such kind of a woman who actually stand for herself even at her own age. Even she did not have any much background of education. Well, I had my other grandmothers who were actually in school in British education. They were very good in mathematics, they were very good in English, but this grandmother was not so well in education wise. But in terms of building up herself, she always tells me this: whenever she cooks the rice itself, let's say we cook 3 cups of rice. We are Malaysians, okay? We eat rice. Rice is our main food. So when we eat rice, we put like 3 cups of rice in a pot so that we will cook it for the whole house. So she always tells me this: when you have a rice pot that's filled up with rice, every time you cook a rice, always remember to take one portion of your hand full of rice and keep it aside. Take one full of portion every time you cook. Take one full portion of your rice and put it aside. You will need it one day in your life. So this is something that I've actually learned. So women in economic freedom, you got to understand that you got to stand for yourself. Whatever you're actually having today, you got to save it for the times that is going to come in the future. You will never know, because my grandmother went through the times there was, we call it as darurat. Okay, darurat is like a lockdown that they had during those days where they had the what do you call it? The Japanese armies used to be right in front of the door for them, that they cannot go out of their house. So they have to keep the food in the house. They have to stock exactly like how lockdown is. That's how I hear my grandmother's stories. They have to like stock the food and all that. So this is what I learned from my grandmother. You always got to be able to stand on your own. You always have to have your own economic freedom in yourself, in your house first, before we go out to the nation, before we go out to the world. So, as being a woman, a little child itself can start at the age of 2 years old, 5 years old. You can teach them on how to be economically stable on yourself, like how Dr. Caroline was actually telling that you got to educate the boy children to respect the girl at the very young age, to respect the sister. Same thing goes to this as well. You got to be able to learn from the very young age. At that time, I didn't know that this is what I'm learning. And here I am, I'm actually talking across the globe who are actually listening from all over the world. This is my message to everyone out there, that you have the power inside of you. Start as young as possible. Teach your children, teach your grandchildren, teach all the younger generation to stand on their own. So this is my message for World Economic Freedom today. Signing off, Dr. Amy Ellen here from the United Kingdom. Thank you so much. See you all. Love you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm here very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you from Canada. And namaste, sat sri akal, and adab to all of you. Today's topic, which we have selected, is really fantastic because women's economic freedom is very, very vital in development of nation. Because the way we look at our nation is that women should have an equal right to say, as well as an equal right to have economic freedom as well. We have been listening so many things that government have been giving various schemes for women economic forum and women for supporting women economically, everything. But believe me, my friend, I would like to say that you need to help yourself first. Government is supporting, your family is supporting. I will request all family members to support women at home, girl child at home, but you need to support yourself. You need to be very strong. It doesn't mean that you are coming out of family and you are trying to help. No, it's not the case. We are in the family. We are. I know all women. All of them are mother, sisters, aunts. A different type of role we play. But having this financial independence and economic freedom does not mean that you are leaving out of family or you are breaking family, but educate your family members that a women economic freedom is very essential and help yourself. What has happened normally is, when people are in a comfortable zone, in certain type of zone, they do not want to cross that. Since many years, sorry, my male friends, I'm not criticizing anything, but since many years, it has been seen that the financial budget or everything at every home has been controlled by men. Majority, I'm telling you, not everyone. So in that case, women also plays a very significant role that she also should be given some kind of freedom to say. And it is how she has to say something. Nobody, it's a comfort zone that this thing is going on so many years. Now she has to cross that. Whenever it comes to the comfort zone, nobody would like to cross. You need to cross that zone. So my friends, women, you need to help yourself. Ministry, government, different community, everybody is trying to help. We have been talking to each other that we should help women. But first of all, you need to help yourself. I would like to share something of my personal thing. A few years back, I supported a small girl child in some way. Believe me, many of them said that, why do you want to go for a girl child? Why not a male? I said, there is no difference between a male and a female. Both of them are equal, but I would like to support a girl child. Now, what happens is, I know a lot of opposition has come from community, lot of opposition has come from family, but you need to fight. You need to be very strong to say that there is no difference between a boy and a girl, and I would like to support a girl. Because that my freedom at home, my freedom at community, my freedom in my family is very important. With all properly respecting people, you need to do your best that explain to the importance of your economic freedom and your thought freedom. Apart from economic freedom, I always say that your thought freedoms are also very, very important. Because what is in your mind, you should be able to tell, and you should be able to convince them, and they should respect your thoughts. They should respect your views. And that is very important because there is no difference between a gender. Both of them are equal, and women play a very significant role in development of nation. Why it is to be? And economically independent and economic freedom is very essential. As a human being, if she is working and she has right to spend few dollars or few rupees, she has been working 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. Why she has, she can tell her family members and their life partners and the people around us people around her that, okay, I'm going to spend this much of rupees or dollars or whatever you say, well, I'm spending this, but she should have that freedom. And I always tell all my women friends that you need to create your path. Nobody will help you to create your path. You have to convince to community. You have to help each other, because so people around you are going to support you. But if you don't speak for yourself, nothing is going to happen. So women economic freedom is, according to me, is very, very important, because if now women education is growing. If women is educated, she gets out of home, she works, she earns some rupees and dollars, and she enjoys her freedom, and it is her right. It is a right. Every human being on this earth has right to study, to go to work and earn for herself. And in a way, I always say that this is your body. This is your biological machine. You should be able to feed your machine. Your father is giving you something to feed. Your husband is giving you, your brother, your people around you are giving. But its first right is your right, that it is your biological machine. You should be able to put petrol in that. Study, be financially independent, be economically independent, be thoughtfully independent. Your thoughts should be also very independent. And with all respect to community and people around you, you need to do this, because it is your stomach, it is your body, you need a petrol for that. So every woman on this earth, I say that study in whichever part of the world you are, study, go to school, study some skills. There are variety of skills are available. Be financially independent and be thoughtfully and independent. And at times it comes that definitely there are people, those who are going to oppose. It is very normal, because it's a very, very normal thing. But explain to them, convince them, counsel them, and tell them that it is my right and you fight for your right. Because every time people can guide you, people can tell you, people can show you path, but it is you that you have to walk to the path. It is you that you have to battle, you have to fight that battle. So in the last, I would like to say that women economic freedom is very, very important. And I know we all women here all of them are learned, and we all know that freedom is very, very essential. And I say that I salute that entire world is moving towards women education and women empowerment. But still we need to focus on this. I am currently residing in this part of world, which is Canada, but I have met many women, those still in this Western world or this part of world, are still deprived of this. So I always tell, I have been working in many NGOs, I have my own as well. I am supporting women and telling them that you need to explain to your family members. You have to help yourself. It is very important. So it has seen, but I always, in last, I can say that my friends, my women friends, help yourself. Then only you will be successful. And thank you, Dr. Caroline, and thank you, Dr. Rajarao, for giving me an opportunity to speak to all of you. And thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you so much. Really, that's wonderful. But anyway, feedback comes later. We invite one more person, the great personality, visionary, Dr. Charkura Palmer from USA, CEO at Total Power Financial Solutions, IDY Group of Companies, Deputy Director, USA. Ma'am, it's our honor and pleasure to invite you to speak on this dais. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Raja. Thank you, Dr. Caroline. The work that you are doing is impeccable, and thank you for the invite on today as we celebrate International Women's Day, specifically talking about having a conversation about women in economics. Here's to the woman who stands, but who realizes that the future is in her hands. Here's to the women that fight for their rights, their human rights. Here's to the woman that is empowered to know that the world is ours. We are birthers and creators. We are the start of life within itself. So in order for us to talk about economics within the world today, it's important for us to identify who we are as women. In order to move forward in our fight to be equal or to be recognized in the economic space, it has to start with us. When we talk about economics, we think about, your mind naturally goes towards thinking about money, right? I'm sure a lot of you would agree. And that money tied revolves around, money that you earn from work or in business. But today I want to focus on the word economics as it refers to money, thinking about what is your self-worth? What is your self-worth? And I would like to point out that in order for us to get to a place and for the world to get to a place in which we as women are recognized in the economic standpoint of being equal or being recognized at all, it's going to take power. Power. Why do I say power? Well, it's going to take for us as women to get into position. P standing for position. Getting in position in order to put a stamp on who we are, whose we are, and what we have to offer the world. And from the economic standpoint, us as women, even within the home, we start off as doing things, taking care of the family, making sure that all the meals are prepped, making sure that the house is clean, making sure that we're teaching our kids, even from their infancy, their numbers, right? The 1, 2, 3s, the ABCs, like we are the start of where that begins in most cases. So if we are empowered to do that within our homes and be the first to teach our children, if not one of the first to teach our children, then how is it that when we get into the corporate world or the workplace that we're looked upon as if we're not capable or eligible? Women, realize who you are. Get into position. So that the world can recognize you for who you are. Next, once you're in position, O stands for overachieve. Don't just get into the position and be silent. Get into that position and show the world who you are. Be an overachiever. If you're asked to take 1 step, take 2 steps. If you're asked to go a mile, go 2 miles. In order to be recognized, within the corporate world, within the world itself, and if we want to be looked as if we're worthy even being in a space, we have to be loud. And typically us as women are taught, to be silent. But silent is not going to get us to that next level of being recognized that we're worth of being in any space, especially in economics when it's been predominantly male ran. So get in there and overachieve. W stands for withstand. Withstand, because once you get into the space, once you start overachieving, there are going to be some things that are going to come into opposition, right? Opposition of what you're doing, how you're overachieving. Who does she think she is? Because you're a woman, you're going to have to be able to build that tough rhino skin to withstand the adversity and the things that are going to come your way. How is that going to happen for you? Well, number 1, building up your self-confidence. You have to be confident in the space in which you are occupying, that space in which you are overachieving. Be confident. Like, I was able to do this. Like, I bring worth to the table. You have to be confident in who you are. Okay? So be able to withstand those things. It's not going to be an easy journey for us to be accepted. It hasn't been for all of these years, even to have these conversations, right? It has not been easy, but it's necessary and it is worth it. So withstand. Next, E stands for engage. Be able to engage while you're in those spaces, whether it be with male, whether it be with female, whether it be with rich, whether it be with poor, whether it be with the head of the company or the janitor. Be able to engage so that you can make an impact at each one of those levels. And you'll be surprised what comes out of simple communication. Communication does not just happen with the ones that are at the top, but those that are within the same class or within the same gender class or what have you as you are, or even some that are frowned upon, such as the janitor, the one that cleans up the buildings or what have you. Simple communication